The Courage to be Disliked was written by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitake Koga, inspired by the psychological teachings of Alfred Adler, a prominent Austrian psychologist. This book has gained popularity worldwide for its unique approach to understanding happiness, relationships, and personal growth. It's written in the form of a conversation between two characters, a philosopher and a young man. Through their dialogue, the book simplifies Adler's complex ideas, making them relatable and easy to apply to everyday life. The book challenges some deeply held beliefs, like the idea that our past defines us, or that we need to win others' approval to feel worthy. Instead, it encourages us to take responsibility for our lives, embrace freedom, and live courageously. Let's dive into the key ideas and lessons that make this book so impactful. A central theme of the book is the idea that we're not prisoners of our past experiences. Many people believe their current problems, whether it's low self-esteem, fear of failure, or difficulty in relationships, stem from things that happened to them as children. While it's true that our past can influence us, the book explains that it doesn't control us. To understand this, think about a time when you felt limited by something in your past. Maybe you failed at something important and started to believe you're not capable. According to the philosopher, this belief isn't a fact, it's just an interpretation. You have the power to change that interpretation and decide what kind of person you want to be moving forward. Imagine your life is like driving a car. Your past is the rearview mirror. It's helpful to glance at it now and then, but if you keep staring at it, you'll crash. The windshield, your future, is much bigger because that's where your focus should be. The book also introduces an interesting idea: the purpose behind our actions. Adlerian psychology believes that we behave in certain ways because of the goals we're trying to achieve, even if we're not aware of them. For example, if someone avoids social situations, it's not necessarily because they're shy. It might be because they're afraid of rejection, and avoiding people feels safer. This shift in thinking is powerful because it helps us see that our behavior isn't fixed. Once we understand the purpose behind our actions, we can choose to act differently. Let's say you often put off doing important tasks. Instead of labeling yourself as lazy, consider the possibility that you might be avoiding the fear of failure. By recognizing this, you can start addressing the fear and take steps toward being more productive. Another major point in the book is that happiness comes from contributing to the well-being of others. This doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your own needs or become a people pleaser. Instead, it's about finding meaningful ways to connect with and support others while staying true to yourself. Think about small acts of kindness you've done, like helping a coworker solve a problem, or listening to a friend who needed support. Those moments likely brought you a sense of fulfillment and connection. The philosopher explains that this sense of belonging is essential for happiness. In contrast, focusing only on personal gain, like chasing money, fame, or approval, often leaves people feeling empty because these things don't create genuine connection or meaning. True happiness comes from knowing that your actions matter to others, even in small ways. One of the book's most liberating ideas is that we don't need everyone to like us. This might sound harsh at first, but it's actually a freeing mindset. When we constantly seek approval, we end up living our lives based on other people's expectations, not our own values. For example, think about someone who stays in a career they don't enjoy just to meet their family's expectations. They might feel stuck, unfulfilled, and even resentful. The philosopher encourages us to focus on what we truly want instead of worrying about pleasing others. This doesn't mean being selfish or ignoring others' feelings. It means understanding that you can't control how others think or feel about you. What you can control is how you live your own life. The philosopher uses the example of walking on your own path. Imagine you're hiking up a mountain and you choose a trail that feels right for you. Some people might criticize your choice, or they might not understand it, but their opinions don't change the fact that this is your journey. The book's title reflects its most important lesson: the courage to be disliked. This isn't about being rude or intentionally upsetting people. Instead, it's about having the strength to live authentically, even when it means facing criticism or misunderstanding. For example, let's say you want to start a new hobby. like painting or dancing, but you're worried people will think it's silly. The philosopher would encourage you to follow your passion anyway, because living in fear of judgment will only hold you back from experiencing joy and growth. Having the courage to be disliked means prioritizing your own values and well-being over the need to fit in. It's about trusting yourself and accepting that not everyone will agree with your choices, and that's okay. Another key idea in the book is taking full responsibility for your life. It's easy to blame others or external circumstances when things go wrong, but the philosopher explains that this mindset keeps us stuck. For instance, if you're unhappy in a relationship, it's tempting to blame your partner for not meeting your needs. But the book challenges you to ask, what can I do to improve this situation? Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything. It means recognizing that you have the power to change how you respond. The philosopher uses the metaphor of holding the steering wheel of your own life. You might not control the weather or road conditions, but you can decide how to navigate the journey. The book also emphasizes the value of simplicity. Many of us feel overwhelmed because we're trying to do too much, have too much, or be too much. The philosopher encourages us to focus on what truly matters and let go of unnecessary stress. For example, think about your daily to-do list. Are all those tasks really necessary, or are some of them just adding pressure to your life? By simplifying your priorities, you can create more space for the things that bring you joy and peace. This idea of simplicity also applies to relationships. Instead of worrying about how others perceive you, focus on building genuine connections. Let go of the need to impress and focus on being kind, honest, and present. The Courage to be Disliked is a thought-provoking and empowering book that challenges us to live more freely and authentically. Its lessons are simple yet profound. Don't let your past define you. Take responsibility for your happiness and find fulfillment in contributing to others. The conversation between the philosopher and the young man feels like a friendly, honest dialogue that encourages self-reflection. It's not about giving you all the answers, but helping you discover your own path. If you've ever felt stuck, anxious, or unsure about your direction in life, this book offers a fresh perspective. It reminds us that we all have the courage to create a life we love. It's just a matter of taking the first step. So, what's holding you back? You have the power to choose happiness, live authentically, and embrace the courage to be disliked.